All right, welcome to LAMBO'S World of Sports featuring the Big Brother. I guess this is episode 7 of the recruiting cycle since last Wednesday, which is officially started. So this is episode 7. We got to the 7th team. Now, this team in Texas A&M, a lot of high hopes, expectations. They were the number one recruiting class a year ago. Um, Now they're at number 5. They have 21 commits so far. They have one 5-star player. They have 16 4-star players, and they have 3 4-star players. Texas A&M did struggle. I'm surprised that they're still in the top 5 despite Texas A&M going 5-7 last year. Um, Go ahead and explain how Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher can improve because as much as Texas A&M has the team, or so-called has the team to beat Alabama, they've underachieved. So is this the recruiting class that gets them back on top since the Johnny Manziel days?
I mean, time will tell, right? So last year's class finished 15th. The 2022 class finished first, which would be, a good amount of starters at this point. The 2021 class was 8th, and the 2020 class was 6th. So players from every single class that I just named, 3 top 10s, including a number 1 and a 15. There's players from all those classes still on this roster. So it's weird to see them not recruiting class. Four-star right now. So for the screen here, this is wide receiver Cameron Coleman. He's 6'3", 180. So lengthy, but not like too big. He looks fast on tape considering his size. 17th player in the country, fifth wide receiver, and 3rd player in Alabama. He's definitely a difference maker. Now they have skill positions, like they have depth at all their skill positions. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets immediate playing time. But given that he's a 5-star, 17th best player in America, I can't imagine they keep him on the bench too long once the season starts next year. Next, we've got Dominic McKinley, 6'5", 280, as you see there on the screen. 31st best player in the country, 7th D lineman, and the 1st ranked player out of Louisiana. Louisiana not as highly touted as Georgia or Texas or Florida when it comes to Southern State recruiting wise, but they've got some dogs that are coming out of Louisiana year in, year out. So for him to be number 1 in the state, it's a pretty big thing. Again, like I said, 6'5", 280. He's powerful. He's big. And you don't get ranked 31st in the country for nothing. So it looks like another dog that they're adding to the D-line, which doesn't really seem to be the glaring issue here on this team. So it's just more depth to add to an already talented part of their roster. Speaking of, they've got another D lineman right behind him. Dylan Evans, 6'4", 260, also a 4-star. 41st player in America, 9th best D lineman, and the 8th best player from Texas, which I've talked about ad nauseum with how deep Texas is as a state talent-wise. They've got the 7th best D lineman in Dominic McKinley, and add this 9th ranked D lineman in the country. So if the D line is a problem in a couple years, something's got to be up with 247 and rivals, because they're adding top of the litter talent here at the D line. And, I guess it was really something that Jimbo and the rest of the recruiters wanted to emphasize on. Going in the same trend, we already had the 5-star wide receiver. Next, we've got a 4-star wide receiver in Draylon Miller. Pardon me if I said that wrong. 6 foot 190 at the wide receiver position. Strong guy at 6 foot 190. You got to be pretty built. 75th best player in America, 14th ranked wide receiver, and the 13th player from Texas. So I don't want to keep saying it, Texas is so deep. And to have two top 13 players from Texas, granted they're on opposite ends of the ball, but there's been nothing since Jimbo has gotten to A&M that has said that they can't recruit. It's about flipping it onto the field. This is another instance of you're going to have to prove it on the field, because this is a great top 5 so far in the quality of players they're getting. Draylon is no doubt a huge addition to this team that should be getting playing time relatively quickly. I don't know how long he's able to stay on the bench, given how good he looks on his huddle, which obviously your huddle is always going to look good, but just being able to pull away from people, being able to make people miss, he's got that skill set. Last guy from their top 5, Blake Ivy, 6'3", 280 offensive tackle. He's the 124th ranked player in America, 9th best tackle in America, and the 24th ranked player from Texas. They're hitting their footprint hard. They are building from Texas out. They've got 9 players from Texas. Blake is going to do great things on that O-line. They've already got 3 underclassmen starting on that O-line, 2 freshmen and a sophomore. So it's interesting that, like they're putting an emphasis on building depth there, or maybe it's just like, you see best available. Why wouldn't you want to go out and get a stud like Blake Ivy? Part of what I'm saying with, they seem to be looking to add even more depth behind a young O-line, not in their top 5 recruits, but a player from Texas, 4-star offensive tackle Weston Davis. He's 6'5", with the cowboy hat, 6'5", 275. His composite score, which, as I've explained in the last video, it's just, the progression throughout the season. It's not what he was ranked at the beginning of the year. 174th player in America, 14th ranked tackle, and the 30th ranked player from Texas. So, I mean, I don't know what's not to like about a 6'5", 275 stature in your tackle, in your offensive lineman. So, I mean, good on them by beefing up, but they've already got a lot of youth there. I didn't think that's where you'd see a good percentage of their top level recruits, where they'd be positionally. They've also got 4-star Miles Davis, the safety, 6'1", 185, composite score, 280 in his ranking in America as an overall player, 28th best safety in the country, and the 50th ranked player in Texas, which would probably put him top 10, top 15 in every other state minus Georgia and Florida and California, So just loads of talent. That's never the issue, the issue is never the talent they're bringing in. I mean, we've talked about it. Jimbo's got to do something to be able to get this talent to perform on the field and not lose games that they shouldn't be losing. They have decent depth at the quarterback position behind their current starter right now, Connor Wigman. But they're bringing in 3-star QB Miles O'Neill as well. And when you look at his stature, it's insane. The dude is 6'5", 220. That's what Drew Aller looks like up in Penn State. Just he looks bigger than everyone on the field, minus some of his O-linemen. He started the year as a 3-star. He's been bumped up to a 4-star in composites. 373rd ranked player in the country, 25th best quarterback, 6th ranked player in New Jersey. His junior year, he threw for over 2,500 yards and 28 total touchdowns. So running and throwing, obviously, throwing at a 73% completion rate. So, 2,500 yards, I don't know if their team just runs a lot, considering he's got 28 total touchdowns. I'm assuming that, that they do have a emphasis on the run, but you'd think a 4-star would be throwing a little bit more than 2,500 in a season, throwing more than probably, I would assume, like 20 touchdowns. But hey, that does not mean anything for his future success or anything like that. They're doing it again. They're putting another top class together. And hopefully this is the class that can, start to turn things around when it comes to being able to translate that talent onto the field. Because obviously so far it doesn't look like they've really been able to.
I've not been convinced for Texas A&M for a very, very, very long time. So I'll have to see it. It's just like proof and evidence. I need evidence until you're proven guilty. So Texas A&M, please do something on the football field. You got all these nice recruits. Do something on the football field. But to all these recruits, congratulations. I wish you nothing but the best. But please, I mean, just win the try to win the SEC or at least compete for the SEC championship. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but hopefully this is the class. But on the next episode of LAMBO'S World Sports, I will be covering a team, ladies and gentlemen, that y'all expect to play for the national championship in Lincoln Riley and USC. Yes, those Trojans, baby. USC, Caleb Williams, is he going to stay next year or is he going to go into the draft? Also, one thing, USC has great talent on offense, but that defense is suspect. So I won't be covering USC class of 2024, and we'll see how that goes. But this is LAMBO'S World of Sports, featuring the big brother. This is episode 7 of the recruiting. We're finished with Texas A&M. We'll probably get back to them later. But next episode is USC football. So LAMBO'S World of Sports, Silent Sports Network. We'll catch you later on.